Watch! What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Second Watch. We got a great show for you tonight. As you can see, we got crispy and bacon. I should probably move you guys so it's crispy bacon. But anyway, we're gonna be talking about what makes a great player, a good player, the good, the bad, the ugly, all that stuff. We haven't had one of these panel discussions in a while, so I've been looking forward to it. Before we actually get into the meat of things, how's everyone doing?
I'm doing great. I'm life of the party here.
Oh, if I was doing any better, there'd be two of me. Fantastic.
Also doing good. I think I kind of jumped in there a little too quick. Sorry about that.
Now, how's your summer treating you guys? But I know, Crispy, we were talking earlier, and you said other than the smoke, things are okay?
Yeah, things are good. Other than that, apocalyptic smoke. Other than that, it's okay. It's good.
Yeah, what's the apocalypse?
Everything might burn to the ground, but hey, you got to look at the bright side.
Well, that's what you get for being Canadian.
Yeah, that's right. We'll just say sorry a lot to the forest and the arsonists. Yeah, sorry.
Bacon, how about yourself, man? How you doing, kid?
Doing good. Staying indoors. That's who I am as a person. I'm a homebody. I will ever be a homebody, and I have just the summer and I never have ever agreed. I'm a cold weather person. That's how I prefer it. The summer sucks. I don't even like going from the front door to the car to go and pick up mints or something. Yeah, I just do not like the heat.
Oh, well, here, actually, let me mess with the volume over on my end real quick. There you go. All right. I just want to say real quick, I see Flint, I see Work Plots, Cam, Technobabble, Chubby's in the chat, a bunch of others. Hey, thanks so much for joining us tonight. Real quick news. We did our first new video in I guess a new feature for the channel. We're calling it a first look with the Second Watch. Grim Games, he's been on our channel before. He's doing a Kickstarter for Servants of the Dragon Lord, his zine. It's live now. He's already hit his numbers, but which is great. But if you want to check out what he's doing, we had a quick 45 minute, it's like 45-minute interview with him. We're going to be doing more of that with some creators. And one of those creators that we're going to hopefully get on for the next video is going to be Grim Jim. He's crowdfunding Stray Crows, which is I don't know, like Asian mysticism game thing going on. It looks cool. I've already backed it, but we're doing that. And next week we're gonna have a very special guest, but we have to confirm it, so we don't want to announce it. But
it's very special. Oh, listen, this guest is so special. If you are here next week, this is what I want. You're not gonna regret this. You ready? We can't announce it, maybe late, maybe early in the week if we can get a confirmation. But everybody needs to order a pizza and get some liquor. All right? It's that special of a guest. If the guest falls through, it's cool because now you have pizza and liquor and you'll be all right. Okay? Yeah. But if everything works out, I think a lot of people are going to be real happy next week.
Yeah. So we'll see. Fingers crossed that we can get where this can, happen. But yeah, I'll let everyone know. And let's see what else. Okay, on the server, Brian is fishing for some Shadow Dark players. And if you're interested in 5e, he's even willing to run his modified 5e game.
He's eager, not willing.
Yeah, he's
eager.
So if you're a member, you have first dibs on for that, so reach out to him for those of you who are members. Gary, you're about to say something.
I was about to say also in about 2 to 4 weeks, if you are a member, there's going to be some open spots for the Marvel superheroes game I'm running. So get on the Discord, check things out. Just so you guys know, if you're members, we do hold spots for people we want, whether they pay or not. But we have some extra seats
yeah,
for you guys that bribe us every week. So thanks a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, and on that note, in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be running a mothership game. So if that's something that you're into, sci-fi horror, probably Thursday nights for about 2 hours in the evening. So again, and on that note, we have my ear Trevor Mercurius gifted a membership. Thank you, sir. A companion level membership to Flint Firefly.
Ooh, thanks, Flint.
Thank you very much for that. And that's the beauty of it. And if you're a companion level member, you actually get to see some of the stuff that's going on behind the scenes as we chat. Our buddy Dan, who's got his own channel, what the heck's it called? Final Arbiter, something like that. He'll be on in a minute. It's still going, but he's been very helpful with some suggestions and whatnot, participating in some of our behind the scenes conversations. So check out, consider membership. We really appreciate it. It's helping us actually pay for all of this, and we really allows us to keep doing what we're doing. So anyway, but with all that said and done, enough about us. Let's talk about what Bacon and Crispy think about what makes an awesome player and what makes a bad player. Because we talk about DMing all the time here, but we really don't talk about players.
Every OSR player and GM are the worst.
There's a hot take for you.
Just kidding. I just wanted to rile the audience up.
Nah, bro, I'm about.
And I took that personally.
No, I mean, I'm sure you did. No, I've gamed with a lot of the people. I've all of you guys here, of course, but then also
As a guy
Chubby
running
chat and-
a Marvel game surrounded by OSR guys, they're horrible. They're fucking horrible. All right, let's talk about it. I'll tell you right now. So, but someone made a list, and I have to ask myself, Crispy. I have to ask Crispy, not myself.
Yeah.
You made a list. What do you think the first thing that makes a good? And first off, let's understand our audience. Even though all of us play games here, we should all admit that we have a GM heavy audience.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right?
clearly. I think YouTube in general is GM heavy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I will admit that I can be a horrible player because
I've heard that about you.
typically a
Yes.
DM. It's true. It's true. So that being the case, don't think, we're picking on you, but don't be afraid to take advice either.
Yeah, I mean it's a very good point you make, Gary. Is that most of the audience here, most of your subscribers, they're used to running games as well as playing in games, and there is no shortage, as we all four of us know, of content telling you how to run the game.
You're right.
But what about how to just be a good, solid player? Like, where's the content for that? There's not a lot of it, and in fact, there's maybe a dearth of good, actionable things that, regardless of how you like to play, are still applicable. So I think both Bacon and I have been branded. We wear the brand. We're like cattle brands.
Cattle branded, yeah.
4D.
As 4D guys, but really, I'm not gonna push that until I get to my bonus tip. Stay tuned. You'll be surprised.
There's a book you need to read.
But yeah, exactly. But before I get there, I want it to be more general. So to answer your question, what in a broad sense, what makes a good player? And when I was giving this some thought and writing down my thoughts, I came to this conclusion that good players are always additive rather than subtractive to what the game is, to the game experience itself. A good player is always additive, always going to make the experience better. They show up, the game is improved because of what they're doing, rather than they show up and it's like, yeah, it was a good game, except for when, Gary kept doing this. Like, well, I don't know why he keeps doing that. We've talked to him about it. So that in a broad sense, if you want to be a solid player that gets invited back, you want to be additive rather than subtractive to the experience. And I've got a whole bunch of ideas as to what that actually looks like, but in a broad sense, that's what I think makes it.
Well, get us started. What does that mean to be additive?
Yeah.
Like, just give us an example, because I've got something in my head, but I want to make sure I'm on the same sort of track.
Well, I'll just start at the first one I have, right? The first one I have is that a good player is your buddy that is actively preparing for the game. So he's actively preparing for the game, but he's not coming to the game with an agenda. He has no axe to grind. He's there to experience it. He's not showing up and say, "I've really prepared, and here's my backstory, and I want to do this, and it'd be really cool, Matt, if you make sure that I get this. And guys, I've already picked out what equipment I want, and I really want to do this. And just between you and I, Dave really pissed me off, and so I'm really going to stick it to Dave this game." I'm like, that's an agenda. You've got an axe to grind. That's the wrong kind of preparation. A good player comes into the game actively ready for the game. Now, there's a lot to that. Like when you think actively ready for the game, well, what do they have? They have what they need to play already. They're not showing up and be like, "Oh yeah, guys, I'm sorry, I don't got any dice." I mean, what did you think we're going to be doing? Like you're ready to it, but you're ready to play. You've got what you need to play, but you're not coming with a bunch of agendas that in order for you to have a good time, I want to see this checklist checked off. And I just hand it to you, Gary, and say, "All right, so for my Marvel superhero guy, I expect this, 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 and this. And if you don't give it to me, I'm going to be mad, right? I'm going to take my little red wagon and I'm going home. I'm going to pout the whole way. I'm ready, but I'm not. I don't have an agenda. So that's tip number one. Be ready. Don't have an agenda.
I definitely agree that modern what we were seeing like pre-COVID and kind of during COVID in terms of like on YouTube, the 5 best feats and those kind of videos definitely put the game master in a position where they're sort of a servant to the players. And I've been saying that the game master is a player too, and they're entitled to have fun. They're not there to work. And when you have a player show up and demand stuff like that,
don't do that. It's a good thing. It's an easy thing to take away. You don't need to do that. Anyway, I would that's my number one.
Well,
I would agree.
I would agree with that. And you say come prepared. I don't want to name names. And I don't talk, but not too long ago, I was running a different game with a different group of people. And there was a guy that kept showing up to it whose character wasn't finished.
Yeah, that's I
asked him to leave like 3 sessions in a row. "Hey, bro, you got to finish your stuff. Come back." And show up and be finished.
You're right to do that, Gary. I don't think you're a bad person for doing that. In fact, I think that's what it's incredibly disrespectful to show up to a role-playing game where you're going to embody this character of some kind. You're going to play this character, and the character's not done?
Bro.
Well, what are you going to do then?
I got you.
Like, what are we all supposed to carry your dead weight through this game? I've had too much caffeine. I'm sorry.
And I do
say you're going in.
No, he's fired up. Real quick.
The second watch with Crispy.
We got a $2 super chat from Mercurius. Thanks, man. Come prepared with X cards. No.
What?
Thanks, man.
I mean, if I can, I'll take an opportunity to just squeak in here and say that I think that what Crispy is saying is correct generally regarding additive players. But I'll add that, and I don't want to steal any of your thunder, so I apologize if I do that beforehand. But I think that it's a conscientiously additive player.
I agree.
I don't want anyone sitting at the table, a frustrated author. I mean, frustrated authorship is spoken about frequently with regard to GMs. It happens with players too. They're the spotlight stealers, right? They're the people who get their turn and then they don't want to let it go. And they want to tell you all these really cool things that they're doing. And they're describing everything. And it's like, you know what? Shut up. Shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up. So it has to be conscientiously additive. You can go too far with it, and I think
you
the
can,
first point,
and that's my that's my number 3 actually.
Oh,
I go
sorry.
down my list.
Sorry.
You're totally stealing my thunder.
Sorry. I knew it was going to happen. But I think that's kind of what the deal is. That's what you're getting at, especially with this first point here, is that you can't just don't just vomit at the table, because that's not going to be good.
I think.
That's almost an axe to grind, right? Like that's you're pushing your agenda. And that's why I think that you can't say be prepared without the caution of it's not your show, right? It's not your agenda. If you have an axe to grind, go play it solo game, get it out of your system, and then come prepared, but you're not railroading others. Players often will attempt, often. I have seen it in my experience, and I'm probably guilty of it at least more than once. Well, at least once, probably more than once, where I kind of take the reins as a player, and all of a sudden it's all about me. It's not all about you. So it's not, don't be that guy. I think I've got that as a separate thing. But
I will admit I've fallen into that. I can think of
We
one
all
game
have.
in particular where my character, quite honestly, was the best character, and I was the best player at that table. And I don't care. I'll say it, Isaac. It was me. So, but the thing is that at one point you can feel like, oh, I'm helping to push the game forward, but you also need to be conscious that, okay, once it's moving, back up. You know what I mean? Let's try to get, whatever the situation is, let's get the wallflowers back in the game. Let's kind of try to get everybody into it. So I absolutely agree with that. And you want players to add to your game within the context of the game.
yes, of course.
Yes.
That's for me, that's the big thing. Every once in a while you'll get a situation where it's kind of like, do we have that? Is that even in this world?
Yeah,
Right.
true. Yeah,
Well, I
you
think-
got to be cautious of that for sure.
Yeah, and I think you're talking about conscientious additive. I know Gary may have something to say about this, so I'm kind of teeing him up here. But
Oh,
if the game masters has said, hey, this is the game I'm gonna run, this is sort of like the themes of the game or whatever, pay attention and actually try to play along and meet the expectations of the game master, because again, the game master is a player. They're here to enjoy themselves, and if they say they're going to run a particular type of sci-fi horror game, for example, and you show up expecting, like, maybe it's like investigative, and you show up with like this super marine brimming with guns and
Yeah,
stuff,
you're
who's just
Master
gonna-
Chief. and
Yeah,
it's like,
exactly.
this isn't.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
not doing bug hunt. We're doing something more like
Well-
Cthulhu in space or something. Then you are kind of injecting yourself into the game and changing it so it's more about you, and which then will have an effect on the other players. But more importantly, it's going to affect the game master. Now is looking at what he's been working on, he or she's been working on. And it's like, crap, I got to redo some of this stuff, because I think a game master's initial impulse is to try to work with the players, right? I think game masters generally are giving people, they're willing to do all this stuff for everybody else to create this sort of thing that happens. And I think a game master whose first response to something like that is to be like, get out, I think is actually very rare. I think most game masters are going to be like, okay, dude showed up with Master Chief. All right, I guess the Cthulhu monster will attack them at some point so he can have his time to shine. They will actively try to fix things, or not fix things, change things for that player. But that underscores the point. You're being a dick by showing up with Master Chief when you know it's supposed to be an investigative type of game.
Well, I think that
uncut-
goes to you're just not listening.
Yeah.
In order for us to get this kicked off, we have to listen respectfully to everyone. And there has to be a meeting of minds before the game even kicks off. Okay, you were talking about this earlier. Okay, I want to run this. Who's interested? That's an invitation for a meeting of minds on this. If you're not listening and you're just like, oh, good, I'm going to just turn this into whatever I want, you're really not listening. And that was my number two thing for good players. You must be an attentive listener. If you're just listening in order to speak next, you're missing it. You have to listen attentively and respectfully to everybody, the GM and your fellow players.
Yeah, you have to be an active listener with regard to everyone sitting at the table. They're all contributing things to what's happening in the world at the moment. And if you are, and I'm going to call it like, it's frustrated creator with a captive audience, right? Like a lot of times when people are again, like spotlight stealers, or they show up with a master chief, or they somehow decide that they want to do something that is not only not in line with what the party wants to do, but contradictory to what the party wants to do. They're frustrated creatives, and they think they have a captive audience in the game, and they're just going to bulldoze their way through things. And that's like, you have to be proactive, be a proactive player. Those really are the best kinds of players, but you can't tip it over the edge. I'm sure that's another one.
Well, that's my next one.
Yeah,
Actually,
that's
Bacon.
on the list.
That's my
Hang
next
on
one.
real quick.
Is
I want to address, before we leave this, I want to address Uncouth Boy. I thought we were talking about circumcision for a minute. So you say this game isn't about you, it's about the GM. That's not what I'm talking about at all. What I'm talking about is, if I tell everybody, hey, I want to play a game where we are going to, I'll just use the real life example. We are creating a superhero universe. There are no superheroes yet. So when we begin, you can have your power, but there's no public superheroes. That's just the way this world is. Because the purpose of this game is, I want you to build the mythos. I want you guys to be the Superman, the Batman, the Wonder Woman, right? I don't want there to be this, every superhero game, you always have like the oh shit characters, right? It's like in a comic book when the last frame of like a Booster Gold comic, and you get to the last page and Batman's on it.
I love
That's
Booster
called
Gold.
the oh shit, things just got real page, right? I wanted to get rid of those characters. I wanted the PCs to be the founders. But if you come to me and you're like, so my dude's name is, Electric Boy or whatever the fuck it is, it's like, nah, bro, you don't have a fucking name.
Yeah.
This is not
if you show up with your leotards on and you're
exactly.
the colorful
Exactly.
pajamas,
So if I tell
it's
somebody
wrong.
this is the context of the game we are playing, and then you refuse to do that, then what you're doing is you're kind of trying to, like, I don't know if you're trying to fuck with me or if you just didn't listen to me. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right.
So so that's all I'm saying. Uncouth. Sorry.
You still have that circumcision.
My bad.
Circumcision. That was
All right, go on.
Bacon. No, really, that was my next one, which is really good players don't try actively to outplay others,
Yes.
and this is something. I've been labeled an aggressive role player, and it is true.
A toxic.
I can be toxic, aggressive role player. I am. I own it. And so this is as I think about what a good player is, I have to be a little critical of my own like my own practice, and say, well, sometimes I think I've been guilty of trying to outplay others at the table. Good players don't do that. You're going to be much more welcome back at the table if you're not sucking all the air out of the room constantly. If you come into this, and just like in this panel discussion, where one guy is doing all the talking,
Yep.
you
Second watch with Crispy.
Exactly. Welcome to my show, guys.
Second watch hosted by Crispy.
You merch quick. Pump it out.
You
pump it
don't
out.
want to do that. So some restraint, especially for those of you that are type A personalities and you're not uncomfortable with the limelight, and you maybe have some experience public speaking, and hey, and I'm really good at this in character stuff, and I'm just going to take over. That's a hallmark of a selfish player, not a good player.
I would agree with that. Real quick, $2 super chat from Wibstabs, and thank you, sir. No, we do not need another bow guy in the
Hey,
party.
Ribs, I think that would be a funny thing to role play, actually.
The other
Like-
bow guy.
Yeah, the other bow guy. They have like two bow guys, and have them like that. I would love. You know what I mean? It's it's the other thing I was talking about. So, all right. I'm sorry. I totally killed
Yeah, that's
the
fine.
mood.
No, you're good. We actually, Crispy and I have bets on how frequently you're going to derail, Gary. We were talking about it before. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yo,
It's
if
on
you cut me
Polymarket.
in,
I'm
If you want to
kidding.
buy
You
it,
cut
it's on
me
Polymarket. Search Gary Lewis on
Polymarket.
Polymarket.
oh, that's a dream, bro. If I found my name on Polymarket, I would just be like,
He's
"What?"
Gary on Polymarket.
Yeah.
Always bet on Gary.
Always bet on.
Love
Gary.
it.
Oh.
But that is, I mean, certainly it's something, especially if you, I think the risk of trying to overplay others is greater when you as a player get a special invite, right? Because now you feel like I'm the guest of honor. Always be humble. Is a better, better practice in real terms. Be humble. You're not the main character. You're important. You're not just backup character either, but don't hog the limelight. Don't be the guy. Don't be that guy that's like, oh, this guy's and this, a lot of this comes down to reading the room too.
Yeah.
Like if I'm in a game with Gary and Lord Mattias and we're it's a more relaxed game, then I'm going to tend to be a little more relaxed. If I'm in a game with Bacon and we're aggressive, both of us are really aggressive in character, there's no out of character anything, and it's all like, I'm going to do that. And so it's about a good player will mold themselves without effacing themselves. Like you don't want to erase yourself from the table.
Right.
But you're going to see what aspects that you can bring as an additive feature without overshadowing others.
Yeah, I'm going to say that generally speaking, this doesn't really apply to every game. So depending on the game, but I would say most games, typical fantasy setting, typical sci-fi setting, you are as important. Your character is as important as you are in real life. There's a ton of other people out there. They're doing a lot more important things than you currently are, but you are the main character of your own story, right? So you keep that perspective. You have those goals. You have that drive. You want to complete these things, these tasks or duties, whatever it is that you have based on your character's personality, but you also are at the mercy of the billions of other people out there. There are going to be some people that don't like you for some reason that are going to try to thwart you, and they're just as important in their own head as you are to you. So you kind of have to take it from that perspective. In Gary's superhero game, I was like, well, superheroes are going to be more important people because they can do crazy stuff.
Yeah, I think to Gary's real life example, I think a lot of people are just excited because what Gary's doing, and I'm trying to see ways to like expand upon it on the server. He's basically creating his own universe, and like the row which we ran last year, and we had recorded some of those sessions. That was like the pulp era, 1920s. And I think everyone who played in that understood the assignment for the most part, and it was a lot. For the most part, it was a lot of fun. And so I know I've been excited. I haven't had a chance to play yet, so I'm looking forward to my character. But that being said, I think the excitement of where the campaign could go should be tempered by the player. Like, yeah, you might have this awesome character idea, but maybe rein it in a little bit so the campaign can actually get off the ground, and go in the direction it should be going. But real quick, Cloaker is giving us $5. Hey, Brian, thanks.
He thinks he's getting it back one day.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Foundational question: when meeting a new player, what is a trait or behavior that indicates they might be a good teammate for the table? That's a good question. Thanks.
That's
Brian.
a great question.
It is a good question, actually, Brian.
I mean, I have an answer right off the bat.
I do too.
If they're conversationally adept, if they don't just want to speak at you, if they want to hear what you have to say and then contribute to the conversation as it unfolds, as you are unpacking things, I think that's a really good indication of their ability to, in a group setting, do the same thing, even though it's not necessarily a conversation where you're supplying, each other with information or actual real life detail. I think that's likely a very, very strong indication that they'd be good at a table.
That's an excellent answer.
I would agree. You did it. You used better words. I was going to say
that's an excellent answer
because you're conversationally adept. I was just going to say if I get along with somebody, if we can communicate easily. But yeah, that's absolutely part of it. Occasionally, that is not. It doesn't always work out, but I think that's the best sign.
Like
the only thing I would
well,
only thing I would add to
thing.
that.
It's a social thing. Even though we're playing a game and we're doing it, in sort of this, very structured manner, it is a bunch of dudes hanging out,
Yeah.
Right. So
yeah, in my Lamentations of Elemental Evil campaign, I was playing with people that I did not know, like, really at all, initially. We knew each other from online, and we kind of got along, and I'm like, I think, and they're into the OSR and they're interested in Lamentations. So I invited them. One guy I knew from VentureCon, and we already got along, so I wasn't too worried about him. And then a close friend of mine who actually I game with in person joined, more of just to help me out, because he knew I was a little nervous about doing something like this for the first time online, which was really cool of Cody to do that. And he stuck it out for 3 years, and got thrown in the deep end of OSR play because he started with 5th edition. So, but yeah, we ended up like becoming better friends over the first 2 years of that game. But what happened was, one of the guys vouched for a dude who joined the game at like the 1.5 year mark, and he ended up being one of the worst. I actually had to ban him from my server because he was just that bad. He had an agenda. He had an axe to grind. He would derail play constantly, and it got to the point where 2 of the players that I was friendly with, who seemed to be enjoying the game, they're like, we're out. We can't handle this guy anymore. And the game almost died. But then Wibbs joined, and the game was saved. So thank you, Wibbs. Yeah. But yeah, I had to kick that guy out because that's exactly what he would do. He would show up, he would dominate conversation. A decision would be made where some compromises were made, right? And it's all online, so everyone's kind of talking. The plan would get initiated, and like in the middle of the plan, all of a sudden he'd go, but wait a minute, I thought we agreed to do, and we were like back to the negotiating phase all over again. It just got ridiculous. But anyway, I think I'm a little bit more trusting. I think if we've been chit chatting a little bit, and you're laughing at my memes, then I think we're going to be good to game together. That kind of thing.
I tend to always start full throttle in the opposite direction. I really don't like new people, but it takes very, very little for me to flip the switch. Like, just say hi to me when you see me. That's it. Okay, that's a good person. I like them, but generally speaking, I don't like anyone when I first meet them. But I'm really easy to win over. So,
yeah.
I'm more of a trust but verify kind of guy. Like, we can be buddies, and then if you do something that against me, then I'm like, okay,
yeah, I'm the guy at the party who's everybody's friend. What's up? And then as soon as you do something, I'm like, fuck you, I hate you, get out of my party, fuck off. You know what? I'm the opposite. I'm so, like I really like making friends. You know what I mean? And I feel like it's a skill, and it's
For sure it's a skill.
It is. And I love making friends too. I just do it cautiously.
Oh, I hear you. And I'm not very cautious, and I've been burned, but at the same time, like, I'm fuck them, whatever. There's more people. Like, I don't.
There are more people.
That's true.
That's very true.
That's Gary Lewis, your dad, said, "There's more fish in the sea, son. Don't worry about it. Just let her go."
I find one that looks just like her, and
it'll be all okay. This is a great question by Chubby.
Oh, you know what?
I'm glad
Greg,
you're
shut up.
it.
Shut up. I'm responding to his comments, several comments down. I did not throw you in the trash. Jerk. You absolute jerk.
He might be. Was he talking about me?
No, he says Bacon love bombed me, then he threw me in the trash. I am a broken man. That's not how it happened.
I quit. So I have to say, here's a bad player thing. When I'm done with a game, or like I get busy or whatever, like there's a part of me that's still like, we're just playing a game. You know what I mean? I know I have the show now and I've made a lot of friends, but there is this part of me that's just like, it's a fucking game, man. If I can't do it, I can't do it. I got shit to do.
Yeah.
And I tend to quit things pretty abruptly. Like when it's over, it's over. You know what I mean? And I don't always, I made the mistake with Chubby of like the channel, like right after, I don't remember exactly what happened, but we were making changes and we're going to do these videos and we were going to do memberships and I'm going to have to run an extra game and da da da. And in the middle of thinking about this, I'm like, well, fuck, I don't have time to play in Chubby's game anymore. So instead of like contacting Chubby and being like, hey man, you know, I got this stuff going on, I just got in the channel. Hey guys, I'm busy. I got a bolt. See ya.
And I'm the one he's giving crap to. I contacted him. I reached out. It was private. It was nice. Hey, dude, look, I gotta cut games. I'm so sorry. I need time. Like, come on.
I was the
Unreal.
worst. And I didn't say, and he actually contacted me. He was like, hey man, is everything okay? And I was like, oh shit, I'm sorry, bro. I was like, I love you, man. I'm sorry. That's just like, I've quit bands like that. I've just been like, hey, I'm just not doing this anymore. I got to do something else. Bye.
Wow.
So, Matt, when second watch is over, you'll have that much notice. Sorry.
I'm looking forward to it. What we're so in that, guys, memberships. We need money to keep Gary here. Okay. What responsibility lies with the players to keep campaign going over the long term? My gods at the North guys were committed for a year. Then after a near TPK, they jointly decided to stop. Interesting question.
Yeah, that's a rough one.
I have some thoughts on this, but Bacon, it looked like you were going to say something.
Yeah, it's not just the long term, it's the short term too. There's a game that was supposed to run 2 sessions that I was included in, and we got the one out, and then I just kind of fell off the face of the planet. And I keep telling the guys, hey, look, I'll get you the dates, I'll get you the times. Never able to produce them. It's just been been a tumultuous time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's the player's responsibility to a very high degree, regardless of how long the campaign is. And I can fault myself for this directly. It was my responsibility to present the dates and the times, never got it done. And this is now going on for months. So I really need to buckle down and I really need to get them the dates and the times. So Crispy and also Uriah, deep apologies. Dean,
hey man,
deep apologies.
Sometimes he just has to that wine has to age.
Yeah.
Well,
I guess luckily I was playing an angry character. I'll be way more angry in the next game.
That's right.
I have all kinds of
he'll just be
to draw
ornery. Yeah. I think Chubby, I think it's a great question. I don't think there's a simple answer to this.
I don't either.
My experience with longer campaigns, I had up until about 18 months ago, I had a weekly gaming group in my house, and we did that 17 years straight. No breaks really of any length. And we ran into some issues as everyone does, where you have things like, somebody has a job change, has to move, or, what happens with the group. And I had asked people that wanted to join our group, I said, well, I ask you to commit as much as you can. I understand if you can't because life happens, but we're going to be gaming whether you can make it or not Tuesday nights, and the game's on. And I really would prefer, if you feel like you can free up that time in your schedule, for you to be here more often than not. And good players, they were very conscientious. They would let you know, like Bacon did, unlike Gary. They don't just peace out and you just wonder, like, where is everybody? Like, what's going on? They let you know in advance. Obviously, in your example, Chubby, it sounds as though it was a joint decision of everyone. And, that's just one of those things where you do need a bit of a critical mass to keep things going. But I did have, as one of my attributes of good players, is that a good player is not afraid to commit to the activity. And
sure.
I was going to take that more of, you're going to actively avoid distractions, but it also speaks to, if I'm going to tell these guys, my friends here, that I'm going to be there, then I'm going to try my best to be there. And I'm not going to just ghost them. bad players are the ones that are like, I never know if the guy's going to be here. And then I find out later he's just playing video games. I'm like, well, dude, what are,
Right.
we, if you don't want to be here, no one's going to force you, clearly. But it's a good player will commit. And if something happens, hey, we've all had it happen. Just be polite and let people know. And it's also a bit challenging, Chubby, I think, to say to someone that, hey, I'm starting up this game. I need you to become engaged with me. Like, no, like we're not getting engaged. All right. Sometimes things don't resonate. And for whatever reason, like, oh, we thought we'd really click with this Lamentations game. And we kind of bounced off it. I'm sorry. We want to play Marvel superheroes.
Right. Yeah.
Can we talk about that? But certainly at a base level, it is fair to say that good players are not afraid of making the commitment, freeing up their calendars as much as they can, certainly letting everyone know, not just the game master either. You should communicate with the other players. Like, you should be like, hey guys, this is what's happening. I just want to, it's easy for Bacon to do that because we're always in a group chat.
Yeah.
And so, anyway, that's my answer. It's a tricky question. There's no simple answer to that one.
Yeah.
I will say this. I am so grateful that I was given the opportunity to publicly self-flagellate before you gave your answer, because I would have felt awful.
Yeah.
Real quick, super chat, $2 from Robert. Thank you, sir. Easygoing has its advantages. Simple is better. I think that's from something you were talking about earlier, Gary. Yeah, well, to Chubby's question, with my Lamentations game, I made it from beginning to end. It was great. I had a great time. But I knew from the game master's perspective, I needed to be consistent. I think that was in a sort of like lead by example sort of way.
100%.
Like, we are going to play every Thursday night from this date to this date, or this time to this time.
Yeah.
We'll go a little bit longer if we have to, but hard stop, and I laid down some ground rules, and it worked. People who couldn't make it would let me know ahead of time, and I just did like a real simple, okay, your character's just not here for this session. Or actually, I think I had a rule. You can let someone else use your character and you'll get the benefit of XP, but they could die, or they're just not there. They're safe. They're not going to die, but you're not getting any XP. I let them make that decision. And then we just kind of went with it. Right. I think we lost in those 3 years. We missed 10 sessions, and that was because fantastic. I was sick.
Phenomenal. Yeah.
Or, something like came up with my job. But again, it was all about communication and whatnot. But I think the consistency is key. And to something about the issue of commitment and like engagement, you're not getting engaged, but the very fact that we're talking about this particular subtopic tells you how unique the role-playing game is. You don't have these comments or questions or concerns or worries for board game night, right? If someone doesn't show up, who cares? You're just playing your board game. Yeah. But a role-playing game is different, and the players should know this. Game masters already know this because they're putting the work in to, present this thing for their friends and hopefully soon to be friends. But players should know this too, that like if you're going to play a role-playing game, you are committing yourself to this very unique experience. So you should, I agree with you, Crispy, you should make every effort. So like, it's one of the things where like, I when someone's like, oh, I have a game I want to run, and I'm like, man, that sounds awesome, but I know Tuesday nights are not good for me. I'm just not going to say yes to this. I'm going to be honest about it. I can't do it. And I'm not going to even set myself up for failure and my wife knows this too. If I have a game running, it's on our shared Google calendar, and she knows, oh, Matt's gaming with the boys tomorrow, which I am doing. Gods of the Mid-North tomorrow. I'm really excited. There might be a TPK. We'll see. But it's on my calendar, and my wife knows that is sacred time, so anyway, that's my take. And if the players have decided they want to do something else, I'm not going to be offended. If they tell me tomorrow, hey, this has been fun, Can we play something else? Okay, cool. We'll talk about it, because that's really my in-person gaming crew is really more for longtime friends to socialize versus like my online games. But
and there's another side to this too, because I know that I'm in the process of, even with this Marvel game, I'm trying to get it to a point where I don't want to say it's like West Marches, but I do want to get it to a point where, like, if somebody can't make it, like, I've kind of got that factored into how the game is going to work, right? But you make certain sacrifices when you do that, right? There's definitely, like, we are moving away from a game where I'm going to be able to design, like, let's say it's a superhero game and you have a fire hero and I bring on the ice villain, right? Well, if you're not there, that kind of fucks my plan up. It's this back and forth. Look, last week I had to cancel a session out of nowhere because one of the children I own or am responsible, whatever you call it. That
No, you own them. That's okay. Yep.
Yeah.
You can say ownership there.
One of the children that you purchased.
One of these kids decided to get in full football gear and get on an e-bike and have a jousting match and go over the top. And I thought an arm was broke. You know what I mean? It was like this whole
That's awesome.
fucking thing.
That was awesome.
We walk into Dell Children's and they're like, "Hey guys, over there, you know where to go." And we're like, "Hey." So I understand life, and when a GM or a judge tries to, plan and tries to arrange their game in a way that, like, hey, life happens. How do I work this game so that we can keep it going regardless? You're going to lose a lot. You can't have those heavy campaigns where your character really matters if I'm designing a game where it doesn't matter if you're there or not. So
Right.
Hey,
I don't know what I'm trying to say. If you can't be there, just say you can't be there. If you're ready to leave a game, just leave a game.
Yeah, and I think that that's also part of being a good player. Just to segue for a moment, it's not about always making yourself available to the group. Sometimes you just can't do that. But if you can't do it, be communicative about it.
yeah,
Don't just ghost people. And speaking of, Chubby, I did see your comment about how you expected from Gary, and it was a disappointment from me. So I'll take that as a consolation that it was. Thank you very much. But it's not always about just always making. You're not throwing yourself at the mercy of the group, right? We are all adults. Things happen. I'm transitioning into a new position at work, and so that's kind of very much been the core of what happened to me recently. And there's preparation and how many times did I have to interview and what I had to learn and how I had to learn. It was just very intense. And so it's just, look, I needed the time. I can't do games at the moment. And it really sucked. It sucked having to go around to everyone, to Mike and to you and to Crispy and Uriah and to Chubby. Like, I had to go around to everyone and say, hey, look, I don't have the time right now to do this. I'm really very sorry. And it was like, I was mortified because I did commit, because I did want to continue to play. But being that good player in that moment meant at least letting them know, hey, look, things have fallen apart a bit as far as my free time is concerned. And I need to reclaim it. So don't think that, at least I'm not sitting here communicating that you have to always attend the game. And I don't think any of you guys are either.
No.
You don't have to attend the game if it's long-term and if something comes up. It comes up. And I think that probably goes without saying, but like the good player makes sure to communicate that.
Like, we've all had that conversation. Like, look, girl, you knew what this was. Come on.
Here
It's
he
just
is
pillow
again,
talk,
folks.
baby.
Here he is again.
Real quick, super chat $1.99 from Paladin Forge. Thank you, sir. Torches burn low. Second watch still stands guard. Thank you,
I was
sir.
gonna take these comments about commitment on the scheduling side of things, which I think we've beaten into the ground. That horse has been beat to death. But there's a related topic to this, which is the commitment to learn the game. That was my number 5, right?
Yeah, and Chubby just asked it. Yeah,
And he
asked
just
that question,
he
you know?
did. Okay, yeah. So it is the responsibility of every player to learn the game you're playing. A good player shows up and does not. They don't rely on others to shepherd them through the game. Yes, you'll have questions from time to time on how I'm not sure how this mechanic works. Okay, that's fine. But it's different. I think that there's one of the things that has puzzled me for years is that in the role-playing hobby, the game master buys the books, right? That's well established. But many players will never read even the player's handbook. And I think that's shocking. A good player has read the rules and knows the rules. May not have complete rules mastery. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is they're showing up, and like I've watched actual plays that were official actual plays of games that are out there, and they didn't understand the basic dice mechanic.
Or where's my armor class on this sheet?
Yeah, where's my armor class
Where's
on
my
this
armor
sheet?
class on this
Black
sheet?
label. Or where's I don't know what my armor class is. I don't know. Or okay, so what do I do with these hope and fear dice? Like I don't what like they don't the basic mechanics. Everyone, and especially good players. If you want to be a good player, you've read the rules of the game we're playing. You must read the rules.
At the very least, you know the rules that apply to you and your character.
At the
That's-
bare
Like, at the
minimum.
least, yeah.
That's to get into the door. Like
Yes.
you don't pass door the RPG to get into the seat at
Yeah.
the table if you don't understand the basics. Now, I'm quite patient with new players. I love introducing pen and paper role-playing games. That's what they are, guys. Quit saying tabletop. I hate that. Pen and paper role-playing games to new people. And so I have to be patient with new people and explain this to them. But I also expect, as I'm explaining, they're listening, a good player is listening attentively, and they're reading the rules. I'll give you my book. Read the chapters that are pertinent to your character. Don't read the whole spell grimoire if you're not a spellcaster. That's fine, but you should understand the basics.
Real quick, Ultra American TTRPGer sent a Rumble rant, $2.
Nice.
They're not popping up. I'm not exactly sure what's going on, but it is what it is. But he says, so Matt is the single mom. Gary is the dad who left to get the milk. And Bacon and Crispy are the uncles that give you advice. And no one talks about. LOL.
That's right. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. That was very funny.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's a really important. If you show up and you're just expecting others to carry you, learn the game. I don't think that's too much to ask.
And that's another thing too that I think, along with like the commitment thing, like this is not, again, like a board game where it's expected, the board game, that the rules are simple enough where you can just sort of learn as you play. And then the next time you play, it's like, second nature. RPGs, even the so-called rules light ones, do require, to read the freaking manual as the saying goes, right? And I'm surprised to this day, like when I see people online who call themselves gamers, who want to get involved in a campaign, and then they show up and there's like no effort. I'm with you. I'm happy to like learn the rules along with someone, or if I already am fairly proficient, help work through the rules with them so they can know what they're doing. But there does come a point where the training wheels have to come off, and they should come off. If they're not off by like session 3, I'm starting to be concerned.
Yeah, I generally say that I don't care about your backstory. You're the only one who cares about your backstory. I'll broaden that to, I don't care what's on your character sheet. Don't show me that sheet. I do not care what's on your character sheet. I care less about your sheet than I care about your backstory, because at least your backstory is something relevant to my character at some point. That character sheet is all you. Figure it out. You have plenty of, if you knew you didn't understand a mechanic, then you knew you didn't understand the mechanic when you put it on the sheet. And unless that was 5 minutes ago, I guess sometimes it is, you had plenty of time to figure out how it worked. So do that. Don't make a character 5 minutes before you play. There should always be a session 0 of some sort. Make your character. If you don't understand the mechanic, bring it up. But once we're sat at that table for the first session and we're playing, I do not care about your sheet. I'm not going to look at it. Don't put it in my face.
Right. right? So in other words, you should know how to translate that character sheet into the actions that your character is taking.
Yes.
So how does it mechanically work so that I can do the things that this character wants to do? So
Yes.
that's really important. And I come back to this idea that there should be, that's a baseline expectation. This is not asking too much.
Right.
So
yeah,
that's
I'm with you.
my number 5. It's a big one. I think that good players, they take the effort, make the effort to learn the game they're playing. And bad players, and they don't. You're 17 episodes in, and you're still asking, how do saves work, or what do I roll again? Which one's the D20?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, come on.
Yeah, and like when it's one thing when it's like an actual play that they're trying to present as sort of entertainment and all that stuff,
Sure.
right? But like for your intimate player, your friends group playing, it's a social experience, and so I guess in some sense you're more like relaxed, and maybe you think you can kind of get away with it. But you're really being disrespectful to your friends who have made the commitment. They blocked it off on their calendar, and it's the thing that they're going to do every other Saturday afternoon, or one for us, my buddies, it's once a month, so it's a big deal. Like we block off like good 8 hours of time. There's a lot of 1D play, and then there's some 2D, 3D, whatever.
Sure.
We don't do that anymore.
You need to, you guys moved on.
Bacon.
We don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
That's right. Get with the times.
Ever since the handbook was published, we don't do that anymore.
Get the author here.
No, not a single person in the 40 Discord ever does that anymore. Period.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I think you're being disrespectful. Learn the rules, whether it's something you're doing publicly on YouTube or even with your friends group.
Even with your friends, I mean, especially with your friends. I mean, don't waste your friends' time. Like, be that guy that is committed enough to know. So I think that's really important. Another super chat here.
Yeah, $2 from Robert. Thank you, sir. I agree. My family doesn't know I moved. Not exactly sure what that's in response to, but
I hope the move went well. Yeah, there you go, Robert.
Yeah.
Bob's moved, guys. So if you're looking for him, he's gone.
I hope the move went well and you remain well hidden.
Yes, that's right. Again, your new identity works well, and they haven't found you yet. So I on my next point on being a good player, it relates to this, and they all relate to each other because it's a kind of a holistic thing. But you are looking to be the guy who's not farming drama. You're the guy as a good player that is handling those moments that come up. We'll call it social tension. So sometimes, because we get enthusiastic and passionate about our hobby, someone will want to argue, or the temperatures will rise in the room. And a good player is looking to handle those situations with maturity and not dogpile. Or basically what I'm saying here is that a good player is going to try to diffuse situations before they blow up a group, instead of piling on one side or the other. So if you're a drama farmer, you're not a good player. In my estimation, that's a poor player.
I actually have something to say about that. It relates to what happened with my Lamentations game. But $2 super chat from Robert explaining himself. I don't have my normal group. Well, dude, join the Discord. We got games that we're trying to run there. I've been approached by a few others who were asking if they can use my Discord to run games, and the answer is a resounding yes. Whether it's a one-shot, mini campaign, long-term campaign, you're free to use the Discord to do that. So by all means, you don't even need to ask permission. If you have any questions, ask myself, Gary. Brian is an admin there as well. We're happy to help and even promote. And on that note, Warped Plots, who's in the chat, he's written Rules Light Sci-Fi Horror conspiracy game called Fuck Around and Find Out. He's trying to play test it. I've read it. It's funny and it looks cool. I'm totally in on a game. So if you want to like get in on the ground floor of a play test of a game, check it out. Get in touch with War Plots on the server. But anyway,
Don't tell me what to do.
well, Bacon's been banned, so
dang it.
Not a good player. There you go.
but
Bacon goes away for a
worst
little while
player,
and
in
comes
fact.
back like yoked. Don't tell me what.
$5 from Mercurius. Where is the Discord address if people want to join? You might want to put it in a membership post. It's actually in the description of the of the stream, so you can find it there. And if it doesn't work, I don't know, let me know in the comments and I'll figure it out. But I'm pretty sure that's a permanent link. Yeah, it's really cool. I actually want to do a review on it, but he hasn't published it yet. So for Christ's sake, play test it so we can get it out. But anyway, so what happened in my Lamentations game is the guy I had to ban, like he got these two guys that I really enjoy playing with. I really enjoy, and so riled up that they just freaking blew up in chat. And my buddy Cody thought they were role playing because there was a lot of play-by-post stuff that was happening too. So Cody was in character and just sort of screwing with them, thinking that they were, just joking around. But no, they took it. They were not joking. They were not role playing. They were very upset about the stuff that had been happening, and it just kind of escalated. I don't blame Cody for this at all, by the way.
I do.
But
no, just kidding. Sorry, Cody.
but like when I tried to diffuse the situation with those two guys, they were like, it just kept escalating, and it got worse and worse and worse. So, so when they left the game, I politely told them, like, look, I enjoy playing with you guys, but the way this went down, not acceptable. So, I mean,
You had to kill one of them.
Maybe yeah, I sent a hit team out after him. No, but I said, like, maybe in a future game we'll game, but like for this, what happened here, you're probably not gonna, you are not coming back. You know what I mean? So I agree. Like if a good player is going to, remember why everyone is there in the first place, to have fun, engage in this cool shared experience, and not, add gas to a fire that, most likely didn't even need to start burning. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and I see we have a large super chat, so I was gonna have a comment on that, but yeah.
$50 from Atmost. I really love the smoking emoji, by the way. Thank you, sir. Is a good TTRPG player someone who can quote the exact page number for the rule you're about to house rule, or just the guy who shows up with snacks and doesn't argue when the DM says no, your character can't seduce the dragon?
Well, I know Atmost, you said I saw you just kind of got here. We've been going over a lot of shit that makes a good player. So there's a lot of range in between that. I think that I don't think it's a good idea ever to argue with the guy running the game, right? Like there's a reason, and you can talk about it afterwards. Right?
Yeah.
You can talk about it after the session.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, if it's a thing where if you can, like, real quickly, and Atmost, you're a smart guy. If you're in my game and we're talking and you're like, no, man, hey, the rule here on this page right there, and it's not like this extended thing. You can sum up your argument. You're concise. It makes sense. I've got a reference for it. I'm going to hear you out at the table. But if it's like, no, man, I want to roll my 2d6 to seduce this dragon, that's kind of, just get along, man. Let's try to get along with each other.
Yeah.
There we go. That's my
I
answer.
agree.
And he paid $50. Go, guys.
Thanks, Atmos. Yeah. So how does one seduce a dragon in 4D?
I don't think you do.
With lots of lube
Oh, there it is.
and some music.
Yeah, I love that song, dude. I learned to play it on guitar when I was a kid. That's a wonderful song.
I think my comments on it is basically asking about the kind of rule lawyer aspect, and I don't. Well, I've just finished It was obviously a joke. I know.
I know,
But
we're gonna answer you anyway because you paid $50.
Yeah.
I would say, because there was another question about the kind of rules lawyers. I've just harped on players that are not committed enough to learn the game they're playing. But I do think that there are those players that are so focused on the rule that they're now antagonistic. And I don't think antagonistic players are good players. You will have disagreements that come up, and those can be handled with maturity as adults in an appropriate, tactful way at the appropriate time. It is rarely the right time to derail the game. So in other words, we're going to stop everything what we were doing, and and I'm going to argue the finer points of the grammar of this sentence on this spell description. And grammatically, this is that, and there's the subject of this, and the verb, and so there's the direct object of this. So it supports my interpretation. You can have an interesting conversation with others in the game afterwards. I would just say, look, if we have a disagreement, let's just agree that we will handle that afterwards, and we're not going to pump the brakes, and then all of a sudden we're going to have a 25-minute discussion over whether or not you can remain invisible after you did that thing. I don't like that, because to me that it trivializes what we're trying to do. Now,
I agree.
That's
It
my
absolutely
answer.
does. To add a little bit more to that, I think there's a difference. I won't even get into it. I don't care how much you know about the rules if it's causing an interruption, right? Like you can be as familiar as you want. You can want to demonstrate that familiarity all you want, but if it's interrupting the game at the table that we're playing right now, I don't care how familiar you are with the rules. I want you to shut up, and I want the game to continue to move. When I prep for games, because I always try to prep as a player, I am always so incredibly nervous that I'm not going to familiarize myself enough with the rules, because there's a fear of letting others at the table down. This usually only happens at a 4D table. But when I'm invited by Crispy or Uriah or David or anyone to play in a game, I have to immediately, okay, well, what's the system? And then I immediately hit the system to make sure that I can be competent enough for the game to go as smoothly as possible. That's different from trying to learn every grammatical backflip and mental misstep so that I can exploit something at the table, so that I can appear to know more about the game than everyone else. It's a different type of prep style. I think one is good, one is bad. And of course, the one that's good is the one that I do.
Yeah. I was just going to say, like, the rules lawyer, we do have a super chat that I'm going to address in a minute here. The rules lawyer can be really annoying, and that's putting it lightly. However, I think a good rules lawyer is one that actually helps the game master run the game, where like the game master may like pause and be like, and then the rules lawyer is like, oh, it's you roll 2d6, dude. Oh, thanks, man.
Sure.
That's a good rules lawyer, in my opinion.
Anybody who's played in a game with me knows that I will be like, oh shit, I don't know, what do you guys think? You know what I mean? Like I have no, especially if it's a really important moment or it's, a contentious moment. I will, there are times I'll ask my players, I appreciate a good rules lawyer. What I don't appreciate is a rules lawyer who's trying to push the limits and kind of break the game for the gaminess of it, right? Like there is a difference. There's the rules lawyer who's like, what the fuck can I get away with? And then there's the rules lawyer who can help keep the game flowing. And I love a good rules lawyer who's not pushing their own agenda. A rules lawyer who is trying to progress the game. There's a difference.
I like Warplot's distinction here. Rules autists are very helpful. But yeah, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. But
so,
yeah.
Matt, are you a law autist or a lawyer?
I'm
kidding.
I literally had someone refer to me as a shark, so I'll just leave it at that.
Gotcha.
I wear the black hat. You don't want me walking into the courtroom.
Nice.
All right. $2 super chat from Mercurius, my ear trumpet. Thank you very much, sir. Can we ban soundboards from guests?
Not
I
Crispies.
can't.
No. Not Chris. Bro, I just want everybody to know, we know what we're getting into when we have repeat guests.
Yes.
they
If
know.
a guest has been here before, we know I was curious. I wonder if Crispy's changed his soundboard. Does he have anything new before
I've
the
added
show?
things.
So if you get on the show and it's your first time and your use of the soundboard is amateurish, then no, get out of here. We're but Crispy's a black belt, so we're good.
Chubby's got an interesting question. What responsibility, and this kind of relates to something I think earlier, but what responsibility do the players have to pursue the leads that are clearly being put forward? Example, GM tells you Rapanathuk is up the road. You declare that you are headed in the opposite direction.
Can I just say that I think it depends on the game you're playing?
It very much
what
depends on the game.
style of game you're playing. Like, for example, if you're playing in a Marvel game and you find a clue, that's because you're supposed to fucking go to that next place. You know what I mean? Or you find 2 or 3 clues. These are what I have prepared for you.
Yeah.
If you're playing a West Marches, open table D&D game, and you find, it happened to me today. Actually, I have a Friday morning game I play, and we found an interest to Rapanathuk. And we all got excited. We don't have to go there. The map goes either way, but it's great. So I think it really depends on the game you're playing, who you're playing with, and the GM should communicate, hey, I'm running Rapanathuk. Then fucking go there, right? You agreed to play the game. That's what he wants to run as Rapanathuk. If Rapanathuk is just a place on the map, then whatever, do your thing.
Yeah, I agree with you, Gary. I would handle that the same way. But I think this does, in a certain sense, it comes back to my earlier point where you don't want to be a good player is not going to try to outplay others. And they're not going to try to outplay or outmaneuver the game master or the DM or the referee that's like, oh, yeah, you think you've got me, I'm going to do this other thing. Not because it's what my character would do in a believable world, but just because I'm screwing with you.
Yeah.
If you're just doing that, then you're guilty of that, the player that wants to make it all about themselves.
Well,
I prefer players in terms of leads and what have you. I'm more concerned just with my preferred style. I'm more concerned that you're being faithful in the representation of the character as you understand it. So what is the character's motivation here? Not the player's motivation. What's the character's motivation? Because if the player is just like, I just want to mess with them and see, because I saw you drew out a map or something, and I'm just going to go the opposite way. Ha ha ha. That's probably not good. Not a sign of a good player. That's my answer. It's pretty much the same as Gary's. It's just, yeah.
he just uses better words than me.
Well, we'll see.
Put that degree to work,
I think,
bro.
yeah. Well, I'm in agreement with you. I'm not in agreement with the both of you.
Survey says.
Crispy, you want to do a show together? No.
I think if the game master is clearly, explained, in the pitch to the players, this is the game I'm running. And it is not like this open world sandbox thing, and you are expected to go on like these investigations. I'm thinking in terms of like how Vossen is run, that game loop. It's we got this problem, we've been asked to investigate it, we're going to go investigate it, we're going to figure it out, and then we're going to go back to our home base and develop our home base, and that's the game loop. And you are all of a sudden like, nah, I'm not going to do that investigation. Well, you basically told everyone you're not going to play tonight, for our game session, Real
quick, can we address Captain Conway? Get his up there. I think it's a good
follow my
point.
hook. Is that the one?
Hey, Conway.
Yeah.
How you doing?
The follow my hooks thing is to be brought up at session 0. I'm running a game, make characters that want to explore an abandoned hall, not after session 0, and that is 100% role play. Captain Conway, I'll go even further. If you're playing a game that doesn't need a session 0, right? Like you're playing a D&D open world game, you don't need a session 0 for that. You're loser grave robbers trying to, build something, right?
Yeah.
But if you have a session 0, that means there is an intent. Hey, Robert.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here, man.
Robert, thank you so much. And consider jumping in the Discord.
Get in the
You'll find a
Discord,
game.
Robert. We'll play some games, bro. So I think you kind of hit on it. It's not just session 0. If you need a session 0, then yes, there are things you are going to agree upon in that session 0. If you're allowed to show up with your first level thief or your first level dwarf, yeah, fuck it. Go wherever you want, in my opinion.
$5 from Atmos. Thank you very much, sir. Sounds like the GM and the players are playing 2 different games.
Yeah, I think in this case, I think you're
I
right.
agree.
I think that, the GM is like, no, this is what we're doing, and you're doing something else. You haven't had that meeting of the minds. You got to have that. It's what I think Captain Conway was referring to, is that you got to have you agree on the premise, right? Now, you may not have a session 0. You're right, Gary. If the premise is just so well known that we don't have to really go through it.
We're going to go to a dungeon.
Yeah. So, okay, it's a dungeon crawl. All right. That's the premise. So we're going to go with that. And I think that's entirely reasonable, and good players will find games where they're okay with where they embrace the premise rather than constantly agitate against it. If you're agitating against, if you're constantly, there's so much friction between you and the basic premise of the game, you're playing the wrong game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Crispy.
Yep.
Thank you.
Sorry.
But then again, I do think, earlier I had mentioned that we are generally talking to a group of game masters or dungeon masters, just by the very nature of YouTube. If you're watching YouTube videos about role-playing games, there's a 95% chance you're running your own game. So I do think that we do kind of, as a player, we hit these places. Well, I wouldn't do it like that. Right. Or I would do it differently. Well, maybe you would, but this isn't your game, or it's your game, but this is not how I'm going to run this game the way I run this game. And we'll talk about it later. I don't know. I'm selfish like that. Crispy disagrees. Let's fight, bro. Bring it.
I don't disagree.
I saw your face. But I just think, fuck it. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I know that's my biggest actual problem as a game master, being a player in someone else's game. I'm very judgy. I'm sitting there going, I'm having fun, and I try to play, and I play along. Like I pride myself on being like, so what game are we playing? And I try to, fit what's happening. But then certain rulings are made, and I'm kind of like, in the back of my head, I generally don't make us think about it though.
That leads to my next point on these aspects. My list, I got a list, and that's the next point on my list, Matt, is that a good player, I would argue that you're being a good player there because you're self-aware. Good players are self-aware. It's a little bit related to this drama, avoiding drama, because you could create drama there. But because you're self-aware, you're saying, okay, I can handle this a few different ways. Am I going to be the sand in the gear here, or can I? You're examining yourself. There's an element of introspection. You have that, and you can self-correct. Good players are able to self-correct. For example, Bacon's a really good player. He won't admit it, but he is.
I won't ever.
And he is.
But I will argue until
hill.
I'm blue in the face with how emotive I have to be a good player.
But he is very careful. He's constantly thinking about how he's interacting. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I know I'm not wrong. He is he's reflecting on how he is interacting with others. And the reason I know this is because as Bacon, you've successfully cultivated a certain mystique around yourself.
I have.
But all of us that have had more in-depth interactions with you know just how much of a nice guy you are.
Well, thank you, sir.
That is someone who is self-aware. And I think that a good player, as opposed to a bad player is a bull in a china shop.
Yeah.
A bad player shows up, they could care less. They're going to offend you with their body odor, their words, their behavior, the way they roll the dice. They'll do annoying things. They will lick their fingers and put it back into the bag of chips. They'll do all of the things, and they're completely unaware of how their behavior is affecting others, right?
Yeah.
That's a bad player. So don't be that, guys. If you want to be a good player, be self-aware.
I think that's self-aware.
Be Bacon.
Yeah.
Be Bacon. Yes.
Bacon. It's like a Zen thing. Be the Bacon.
Yeah, spoiler alert, you'll never be Bacon. I'm Bacon.
Challenge accepted. It's on the
$5
beard.
super chat from Chancellor. Good to see you, buddy. It's like when I tried to run Soldiers of Fortune, which is an 80s, 90s TV action game where no one dies. If you've ever seen those shows, you're SOL. Yeah. I enjoyed the game you ran at Arnicon a year ago. Thank you for the super chat, sir. And Cloaker has something I'm going to bring up in just a minute, but the self-aware thing, I just wanted to add to it. If you're self-aware, if you're reflecting on your game, the way you run it, the way you play it, the way you approach it, that's actually how you learn. And the bull in the china shop guy, the bad player, they're never going to get better. Until they start reflecting on what went well at that game session and what didn't go well, and be willing to look themselves in the mirror and say, maybe that was my fault.
Well, Gary was about to take issue with that, but I'm going to defend what
I wasn't going to take
said.
issue. I was going to say I've been that player. I've been the China shop, and that doesn't mean that I've been the guy who's run in and tried to like ruin the game or spoil the game, but I have been the guy who's come into the game and not really gotten a clear explanation of what the game is supposed to be. And I've referenced this before, but my good friend Isaac was running sort of a criminal investigation, almost a TV procedural style game. And a player dropped out. He asked me to come join, and he didn't really explain it to me. So I became the fucking cop, 80s action movie, slamming the dude's head on the bar, answer me, and I fucked his game up completely. I was the bull in the china shop. But that's one of those communication things. You know what I mean? You got to have that player. And if you've had that talk with a player and a player is still doing that, then he's beyond a bad player. He's an impedance to everybody's fun and needs to go play something else.
Yeah, and that was one guy I actually had to ban from my Lamentations game because that's exactly what he was doing. Yeah. All right. I want to get to Brian's question or comment question. Besides rules competency, it'd be interesting to hear what each of you think good players do to expedite game state at bat, but also when on deck.
That sounds like a 5e question. Sorry. It does. Like in combat, you're like, you're up, you're next. Get your shit together.
Well, that's something you definitely can do if you're playing a game like that, right? Like has a lot of bells and whistles, a lot of moving parts. When you're on deck, be prepared.
Honestly, the best thing you can do, from what I can tell, in order to improve the flow of the game, is to be right back to the beginning. But you have to be an attentive listener. Yeah. If you're listening see what I think people fall into the trap that, okay, all I need to do is head down deep into the character sheet, making sure that I got all my stuff ready for when the turn order comes around to me. But by then you've completely disconnected from what's been going on at the table, and you're not sure where everyone is, and you don't know what is that? What? I'm sorry, what did you just do? Oh, what? There's no guys left anymore? Oh, if you're attentively listening, then I think that'll dramatically improve the the rapidity of turns. When everyone's paying attention, that's better than you check out in between. Like, oh, well, I've acted for this round. I guess I can check out until it comes around to my initiative order again. Oh, Bacon's talking. Okay, I'm up next. I gotta pay attention now. No, if everyone can be listening carefully to what's going on in the table, then you can avoid a lot of those, well, just reframing or reestablishing questions that can come up. Okay, well, how many are there again? Oh, what's that over there? I'd like, if you're paying attention, you can avoid a lot of that.
Agreed.
You know, we are I just want to clarify for those who don't know, because Bacon hasn't been on the show a lot. We're talking about what it takes to be a good player. Bacon is primarily a player. I don't know that he's run anything yet, really. I mean, when last time you were on the show, you readily admitted, I am a player. I am not a DM. I am a player.
Yes.
And, you know, I'm kind of curious, what do you do? Like, I know that you guys, when you guys get together, y'all have a whole other, because we did a whole episode about y'all session 0 and putting things together and how the game comes apart. But let's say you get into a traditional game, Bacon. What is it that you're doing to make yourself a better, like consciously, what are you doing to be the good player?
Like during the game?
Session 0, what are you doing?
I'm making sure that I mean, gosh, what a good question. I'm going to have to sit here and think about this.
Yay, I win.
I don't know. I mean, it's going to be a bunch of dead air putting me on the spot like that. What do I do during sessions? You're like, I have to be careful not to contradict myself, right? Because I say all the time, well, I don't care about your backstory. So I can't like sit there and say, oh, I'm listening to people develop their characters and give me their backstory, because it's not what I'm doing. I don't think it's really a matter of session 0, right? In session 0, I'm very focused on I'm very focused on me and on my character and what I'm doing and learning the rules. But like during the game, as characters are doing things, as things are being explained and actions are being performed, I'm listening attentively. I'm careful to hear what's going on within the game, because while I may not care about your backstory, I do care about what's happening in front of us right now, because it should be indicative of who you are as a person, as a character. And so I want to interact with you in ways that make sense. I'm going to try to be as observant as I possibly can be. I'm going to know the rules for my particular character, how I'm going to use them. I don't argue. I don't jump out of character at a moment's notice. I will just submit to the GM ruling in the moment, even if I think it's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. I'll tell you that just after the game. And I just try to be as observant as I possibly can be.
Real quick, $2 super chat from Chancellor. If you play long enough, you'll be bull on accident. I think. Yeah, I agree with that.
It's going to happen. Yep. But I think that's again, characteristics of good players. Oh, sorry, there's another one.
Oh, another one from Robert. Before I go, Bacon's beard deserves this.
Doesn't it though?
Oh, right? Thank you. There have been several beard compliments in the in the chat tonight. I really
you should be proud.
You should be proud.
No, and I am proud. If you want to hear me talk about it, I'll talk about it.
Well, not now. I don't know if that makes
you not now.
This is how you
within reason, man.
I've gotten dwarf comments. I've gotten beard comments. I'm happy. I'm happy with the way that I've been received by chat, except for Chubby Funster, but he and I can duke it out later. Yeah, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I know he can take it. That's why I say it.
Yeah.
Well, I was just going to say, I had called it something else, but I think advanced fantasy games has really hit on another aspect of good players. Good players have that level of emotional maturity. Yeah. And the way I would say that this often manifests with a good player with that emotional maturity is that they can be patient. And patience is an important, especially when we're in a group activity and it's based on, at a certain level, it's based on conversation. And so a good conversationalist was one of the things that Bacon had brought up right at the beginning. And I would go so far as to call that an evidence of emotional maturity. You can be patient, you can wait, you can wait your turn, and when there is an issue that comes up, you're emotionally mature enough that you don't immediately make it a personal affront. And we've said this already, but I think good players, when there is something that has been bothering them, they speak up. I think a good player speaks up and says, this is an issue I'm having an issue here. When do they speak up? Well, we've already mentioned this too. They speak up after the game, and maybe privately they pull you aside, Gary, and say, I'm struggling a little bit with this. And, can we talk about it? See, they're emotionally mature and not to make it a personal attack. It's like, hey, I want to make sure I'm not treading on anyone's toes, but at the same time, I don't want to be the guy that gets trod on either, right? Like I don't think a good player is one that's just going to be self-effacing to the point where you just take it all the time.
Yeah.
Right? That's not a good player. A good player is going to see, because they're emotionally mature, again, borrowing a term that I really like from the commenter, that they'll identify issues before they become deal breakers, and they'll speak up about it. They'll be patient with each other, with others in the group, right? Nobody's perfect, but they're also going to point it out. They're going to help be proactive and mature like adults. And of course, I'm just making an assumption here that we're talking about groups that the four of us would be playing in. So I'm not talking about, the 12-year-olds playing at their lunch hour in the junior high,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
But they're emotionally mature to proactively identify issues and help solve them before they implode a group that otherwise could go on and have fantastic time together.
Got a question from Work Plots, maybe a targeted question. He says, do you think that players' age matter? What do you think of GMs who do prerequisites of not older than or not younger than for games? I'm not talking about 18 plus, by the way.
You know what? I'm gonna say it depends. I think it's a case by case. I mean, we have, and I'm not right now, but we have consistently been playing games with Chubby and Chubby's kid. And as much as like Chubby will get on his kid, like he's not doing anything that we wouldn't do. Like he's being raised by a good he understands, but he is a kid. You know what I mean? He's kids are kids. But in a lot of cases, he's been a better player than me. Like I feel like, I've had moments where I'm just like, let's jump into the danger, and Chubby's kid is like, whoa, hang on. Let's do this first. You know what I mean? And he understands the game. Now, if you put my 16-year-old in the game, he'd be like, that's lame, dude.
Yeah.
Let's right. I mean, it's individual. And honestly, I think it has more to do with experience than age. It has more to do with the peer group. If you have a kid that's playing a game with experienced gamers, right? And they're going to model themselves after that. They're going to model themselves after the players they're around, because even in that group, even though they may not be peers as far as age goes, they want to be accepted. And they're going to model themselves around the players that are around them. Now, if anybody says you're too old to play, like eat a dick, that's bullshit, because I'm only getting older. And I don't want to be left out of anything. But with kids, it's a thing. I understand where the concern would be, but I wouldn't invite a strange kid into my game that I didn't know, because that'd be fucking creepy. Hey kid, you want to play some D&D? Get in the van. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to do that, but I'm gonna really, it's individual, just like it is with adults. However, I do think more adults would pass my tests than teenagers would.
Yeah, I to your Gary, I agree with you too. Like Grant, like really.
I was trying not to say his name. He's a minor. Come on, bro. No, sorry.
That's disgusting, Matt. I can't believe you just did that. You just doxed a
Goddamn,
minor.
dude.
Unreal. I love that
What's
clip.
that?
I was just gonna
What is
say,
that?
like,
I gotta get
What's
my
that,
soundboard
brother?
game together, bro. I got
Yeah,
one. I gotta work it.
but I was just gonna say, like, he has been leveling up in a sense because he's been surrounded by more experienced players, and that's just true in life. When you're with someone more experienced, you're just gonna learn. And but to Crispy, your point to like the young kids at the lunch table, that's where they're going to develop those skills through through play. And I ran a game specifically designed for younger kids, you know, preteens. It was like a Dungeons and Dads sort of thing where like you brought your kid and, you know, we played Keep on the Borderlands and, you know, but that was a game specifically designed for, you know, that type of player group. You know, I'm not going to run a Lamentations game and be like, come on, kids. Where we're going, you know, you're not going to need eyes to see, you know, we're not going to do that. But
I'm gonna interject here, and I'm gonna say that among the four of us, I'm fairly certain I'm the only one who doesn't have any kids, and so I have a different approach to the young because I don't have that experience of raising someone like that. And I'll say this: I don't necessarily think that age is an issue, but I think that it can be an issue because it's going to depend on the experience levels of those at the table. I always want to be welcoming. I always want to make sure that we're bringing new people into the hobby. I always want to make sure that if I sit down at a table with someone, regardless their age, I want them to have a good time with me. Someone I'm sure just said something in chat.
$2 from Chance. Gary just ruined my gaming outreach idea.
Dang. Stock it with candy. So while I can temper myself to be very accepting of the young, there are definitely behavior differences. There are thought differences. There are experiential differences that, you know, some people, and I would say probably more people like me who don't have kids, right? They're not going to want to have to deal with those differences. So there are going to be people, and I saw it mentioned, it has already flown by, about, you know, people saying no people above this age or no people below that age. Is like, that's fine. That's your table. If you don't want to deal with those sorts of differences, that's okay. That's not me. That's not how I behave. And so you're a bad person, but I think it's perfectly well within your purview to make those decisions. I don't think this necessarily has any bearing on whether or not they're a good player. You can be young and conscientious. You can be young and a good listener. You can be young and a proactive player. And if you're not, I want you to learn how to be personally. So I want you to sit at my table. And if you are, then awesome. I want to see what you've got. So, you know, it doesn't have anything really to do with being a good player.
And I think
in my
we've
opinion.
all played with enough adults who aren't good.
Yes.
Oh,
and
God,
mature
yes.
and
Oh,
everything
yes.
else that you know, really it is about experience. And you know, Chubby made a point. He said his kid started with Axe 2, right? So there is a certain experience level. You know, there is a certain amount. Like I will take a kid who's been playing games. It just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. If you're an asshole, you're an asshole. And age doesn't really have a lot to do with it, you know? Anyway, that's just me.
Well, I was just gonna say you're all a bunch of ageist. I agree with technical. No, I'm just kidding. Well,
I just said I wasn't. I literally just stood on a soapbox and said I wasn't.
My son and I we only went to one day of Central New York Con this year because of various other you know, obligations. But that was his first con, and he sat down at an old school essentials game, and there were two. They had to be in their 60s, a brother and sister duo. And at the end of the game, you know, they actually came up to me like, how often does he play? Because he's like a really great player, you know. I was very proud of my son because he was listening and he was actively engaging. I think the game master was kind of fudging some dice for him a little bit behind the scenes there, just to give him a nice experience. But I think it really does depend on what you, the game master, are going to be doing with the game pitch. Like, if you don't want kids at your table, yeah, I agree with you, Bacon, because I love running horror games like this Mothership game. I'm going to run. My son ain't going to play in that because
Yeah.
I'm going to get it's going to get pretty nasty. But I had a blast running my Shadow Dark on the Borderlands game with the kids and their father and their parents, the fathers, because they, it's like the Zen concept of new mind. Like, I've been gaming for so long, I'm kind of stuck in a lot of my own preconceived sort of ways of approaching things, and then like you got these kids who are, it's brand spanking new to them, so they're just trying stuff, and it's just like some of them, you're just looking like, wow, that's actually a really good idea. Let's see if this works, and then you play it out, and it was fun. But again, I think it really depends on the table, and I don't think it really has a bearing on whether it's going to be a good or bad player, but I think it will help you set the expectations. Like, I'm playing a kid's game, I'm not going to expect a certain level, So, but anyway, go ahead, Gary.
There's also a thing that kids will bring to the game that adults want. Now, I'll say if you're playing like a D&D game that's very procedural and you're doing the dungeons and all, maybe that's not the best example. But I remember once playing a Star Wars game when my oldest was probably 11. I was like, yeah, sure, play. And he had been watching, I think, Rebels. And in the middle of, there's a car chase, and he's like, I pull out my electro staff and I jump on top of the other car and put it through the engine, right? Now that seems crazy. If you're an adult and you've been playing games and you're looking at stats and numbers, it's like, oh shit, what are you going to do? But we were playing a Star Wars game, and he had at that moment, he fully embodied the whole action scene kind of thing.
Awesome.
Where a lot of times I think adults are like, oh, I don't want my character to die.
Right.
But a kid is like, nah, this is a movie.
Yeah. No, me neither, Bacon.
Not me.
Yeah, I was going to say, and I'm glad you highlighted Technobabble's comment, because I think that's another aspect of great players. Like, if you want to go from good to truly exceptional, then I think that at some point your enthusiasm for the hobby has to shine through. Great players, truly remarkable players are enthusiastic. And that's not an age thing. They're enthusiastic. It pains me to see, it was about a month or so ago where the topic du jour of the D&D tubers was how to engage your players, like how to get them excited about that. Look at a good player doesn't have to be
cocaine.
They're already enthusiastic. Otherwise, they choose a different hobby. Like, there are so many things you can do. Okay, if you should, as a good player, you're already enthusiastic about that. That should shine through without transgressing the other things that we've talked about. So in other words, you're already enthusiastic, and I think a truly exceptional player is an enthusiastic player.
I got some super chats I got to get to, but I wanted to highlight this. Spot on, Crispy. I'll take an enthusiastic player over an experienced one any day.
Every day.
Yeah,
Twice
I agree.
On Sunday.
Yep, I agree.
Yep,
and
agreed.
it kind of goes back to something I said earlier. This hobby is very different, and you should know certain things once you get into it. And I think if you're going to know after the first couple of games whether this hobby's for you, right? And so, like, I'm actually kind of surprised that there are people in this hobby who are not enthusiastic. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me, right? It's almost like a contradiction. Like, because like, again, this is not a board game. He's like, it's where you can pick it up and drop it. Like, you are kind of committing yourself to a variety of things, not just the particular campaign, but spending a little bit of money on the books, spending some time reading it and understanding the rules, kind of like thinking about engaging with other people and like this social contract thing that's happening. You have to really want to do that stuff, and there is a level of drudgery that kind of comes along with it, but the drudgery is minimal considering like what you're going to get out of it once the game hits play, right? So the idea that there's non-enthusiastic players is, I just think that's a contradiction, and that's why I laughed when you said that some of these talking heads are talking about how to make your players engaged and enthusiastic. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
But anyway, let me get to these super chats real quick. So another one, $10 from Atmos. Complex rule systems often offloads work, the GM leaving players to pick up the slack. Might be harder on a GM on a lighter ruling heavy game, but all you need is consistency with how your world works. I think I agree with that.
That last bit, all you need is consistency with how your world works, does so much heavy lifting.
Yeah.
And it's not exactly an easy thing to suss out.
Yeah, it
But
is.
I agree. All you need is consistency. Whether or not that's easy is an entire conversation.
Yeah. I'd agree. I agree. And then another $5 from Dan, our the second watch henchman. He's grandfathered in as our immortal. But thank you, sir. This is a great conversation for me at CNY Game Day. I'm running. Was it FMAG? I don't know that one off the top of my head.
What
Anyone
the
know?
fuck?
Yeah. As a learn to play session for kids 8 and up, free copy of, was it? I have no idea what that acronym is. Sorry.
Sorry.
But anyway,
man.
sounds good, dude. You'll have blast. I know I did with
trust you.
running Shadow Dark on the Borderlands, and my son and I are hopefully going to be at the game day in December, so we'll see you then. Okay, so I don't know what else. We're done with the age thing. I guess we're moving
for
on.
sure. We've been going on that for a while, and we don't have a lot of time left.
Oh,
No, yeah,
White
we're on-
Box.
Yeah.
Medieval adventure game. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
I would. Well, was off
Your
of that.
OSR
I think
cred just tanked there, I think, right? For not knowing that? Is that how that works?
probably.
Probably.
But you
Like
know
a jar
what? Here's the
to keep
thing.
you credit?
I am finding that the more, like the I don't want to say the better, but the better the show gets, I guess, the more people watch and the more I'm having to pay attention and answer questions and do things outside. I'm becoming less and less connected with, like, I don't even know what's Kickstartering right now. I know Chubby's got something coming up. I know Matt Tapp has something coming up, but all the little details are beginning to escape me. And I'm going to tell you the reason for that. I have to run games now. I have to consistently be playing and consistently be running games. And I don't have time to look at all the things that are on sale anymore. I just don't. If it's good, someone will tell me about it. So I'm not too embarrassed about that.
Yeah. And I've actually been learning more about what's out crowdfunding, because people are coming to us and be like, hey, I want to be on the show to do the thing. And that's why it's a really, I'm going to quick digression to say thank you to all our followers and subscribers and members. You guys have made this happen. Like,
And
we literally
guests.
and the guests, especially when they have these awesome soundboards that constantly interrupt me. No.
Constantly.
The next time you show up, Crispy, I want you to have a button that goes, Captain Conway.
But we literally have a line out the door, and that's why we're trying to do some mixing things up on the channel. So I just wanted to say thank you to everybody. You guys have made it great. Speaking of which, one of our longtime followers, Robert, gives another $5. Thank you for your time. Hey, dude, thank you for your support, man. We really appreciate it. Yeah, so we got about like 12 minutes left. Any final thoughts on what makes a good player, guys? Anything we didn't cover that we should have covered?
I'm sure there's
I have
tons.
one more bonus. One, if you're toughing it out this long,
Yeah.
I can't come on any show and not say,
wait, hold on a second. Are we about to get into multiple dimensions here?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I promise I'm not. So what I was going to say though is to bring it all home, a good player of a pen and paper role-playing game by definition is a good role player. So I think if you're going to set yourself up or out from the crowd, then you should learn how to be a good role player. That's what we're doing. The game is role playing. So all of these things we've talked about tonight on this lively conversation have all been really, I hope, actionable things that players that were like, I kind of want to improve as a player. I want to be the guy that's everyone's excited to have in the game. You really, if you really want to do that, I don't think you could ignore the role play aspect of it. I think you should. A good player also knows how to role play, and they role play without it being, outplaying others, without transgressing any of the other 9 things that we've talked about. They're enthusiastic and they're patient, they're emotionally mature, and all of those good things. And they're an awesome role player. That's what does that mean? Well, they understand what the activity really is. Like, what are you doing? And we've alluded to that throughout the course of our conversation. You're role playing a character in this fictional world. That's the main purpose of the game. You are stepping into someone else's shoes. You get to decide who that person is and what their goals are. And I'm not alluding to some novella that you're going to write as a backstory. No, we're not talking about that. We're just talking about the actual activity. You understand what that is, and when you show up at a game, you're already committed to be the superhero in the Marvel or the emerging Marvel universe that Gary is creating alongside with his players. You are the superhero. You will role play a superhero and you'll commit to that. And that will differentiate you from just a nice guy and now a nice guy who's a phenomenal role player. You can't show up and have all those other social skills and not understand that you're trying to play this, not yourself, you're playing this character. If you can get that into your head and really embrace it and not fight against it, then I think that you will you'll be head and shoulders over the hoi polloi that really ought to be just doing a board game. Play a board game. If you don't like the role play aspect of it, no judgment from me. There are many other activities that would maybe be a better fit.
Hero Quest.
Yeah. Do Hero Quest, Descent, Gloomhaven, Mage Knight. There's no shortage of other excellent games that you can enjoy without this cringy. If you hear me saying role play and you cringe, well, Warhammer, do your thing. What is it? Bolt action. Play Bolt action. Those are awesome. They're great. They're fantastic. But you can't really talk about being a good role player and not at least mention role playing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And not only do I agree with that, I want to, as we're going around, I couldn't agree more. You want role play. And I do think that there is a thing sometimes, especially with the OSR community, where it becomes very, it's gamey, right? It's like you're playing a board game with room to role play between sessions. That makes any
maybe
sense.
on a play by post,
right?
Maybe.
And I love those old games, but that does seem to be how the community at large does treat those games, And one of the things that I wanted to say about what makes a good player is that a good player in a role-playing game knows that by interacting with the people at the table and having a good time and helping to move things forward, that is winning the game.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
If you come into a game and it is the win quotient is, I'm going to accomplish this, and that. We're going to get to level 2 in the dungeon. We're going to get to level 3 in the, whatever it may be. Honestly, man, a good player understands that being at the table, having a good time, and you having a good time helps facilitate everybody else having a good time, knowing the rules. This is winning. But if you come into it with, I don't win unless I do this, and that, well, that's not the game. Go find a game that does those things.
I think I agree.
Loser.
Jumpy, man.
Yeah, I don't think the role playing thing. I think it's this might ruffle some feathers. I don't know. Maybe it won't. I think some people overthink role playing, and I think that's where you get like the 5-page backstories and stuff, or
amateur actors, or like it's not role playing doesn't have to be a funny accent.
Yeah,
it's just doesn't have to be that.
Yeah,
you can be that character without doing some kind of weird accent that it's just going to be silly and it brings everybody out of the fiction. And I just don't. I think you're right. I absolutely agree with you, Matt. People overthink this. Like, well, I'm not some improv actor. That's not what we're asking you to do.
Yeah, no, just imagine.
We're not asking for that.
Yeah, like going back to that kids game, actually, there was this girl who was playing, and she was very used to playing 5e. So she was looking at the Shadow Dark character sheet. She every time she asked a question, she'd be like, "Can I do this legally?" Because she was concerned about the rules. I finally went. I said, "Hold on a second. Just close your eyes for a bit. You're standing before the keep. There's these large doors that are opening, and people are, filing in." And I just kind of like painted the scene. I went real detailed with her. Well, not real
good
detailed,
for you.
But I painted the scene for her, and I go, "You're standing there. You got your bow. You're a ranger. What is the first thing you'd like to do that comes to your mind?" And then she just said this, and I'm like, "Okay, that's what you do." And I go, "That's role playing. That's all you need to do." And for those who want to try to add a little bit of characterization, I think one cool sentence about your character that kind of defines them, that you can kind of go back to, I think is all you really need to do. I had a character in a Mothership game a few years back who would just kind of chew on his titanium toothpick that he rolled randomly as a trinket. He was a mercenary, or he was a soldier. So whenever he got agitated and got ready for and got excited for fighting, I would just say, Remy LaRue is aggressively chewing on his titanium toothpick, and everyone knew I was getting ready to throw down. You know what I mean? And that's it. That's all I did. That was my role playing. And then I just start rolling.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. So I do think people overthink it, and I think that might actually create the problem of unenthusiastic players, because they're thinking they have to do some sort of weird magic trick at the table, and I don't know. But yeah, overthinking it for sure. Anyway, so that's all I got. All right.
What makes you so great? You're the only one who hasn't answered this.
Me?
As a player, dude. Okay, let me explain
No,
something.
I answered it. I'm observant. I listen. I do all the things on Crispy's list, damn it.
In fact, Crispy didn't write a list. He was drawing a depiction of
I have a
at
list.
The table.
I was convinced when you turned that around, it was going to be like a happy face with
just a big beard.
Stick figures.
I rock.
Oh, that's great. That's great. All right, where are we at? Are we at time or
basically? Why don't I know you two have channels? Let everyone know where they can find you.
Yeah, you want us to give a plug?
Yeah, please do.
Sure.
No, so, it wasn't Brian. I actually sent you a Discord message. I did not miss it. I am very grateful for the compliment. I know exactly what you're talking about. And you'll see about a half hour ago, I sent you a message in Discord.
Oh,
everyone
emotional maturity. Emotional maturity. Unlike Gary.
Emotional damage.
So I was just going to say, you can find me at TableRunner on YouTube, on TableRunner Crispy. I'm enthusiastic about role play. Like I'm a role play fanatic, and I run games. I critique games. I have lots of opinions, often with some cool jazz and some hot drink. And yeah, so come check me out. You can also find me on the 4D role playing Discord, which is a great place if you want to give the style a shot. Try your hand at it. We're happy to have you. We made some changes there to hopefully make it a little more friendly to newcomers. And yeah, that's where you'll find me. And yeah, hope to see you soon.
Can I say real quick before we leave about Crispy's channel?
Uh-oh.
No. I gotta tell you.
No. Wait.
I sometimes will put on Crispy's channel while I'm doing something else and like actually turn it down.
Yeah.
And just watch his face as he listens to people role play.
Yeah.
It is beautiful, dude. I want to make a music video out of it or something. It starts out so hopeful. Hey guys, I got the jazz. Here's my coffee. And then about 20 minutes in,
20 minutes in, I got 1,000-yard stare, and it's like
these motherfuckers.
We actually in the Discord we take image shots of his face and just post them.
Yeah,
Very funny.
I am a
But
meme.
they do the same thing to me
a-
too. I'm a
Yeah,
meme as
it's
well.
true. We're
Like,
both memes, and now they're starting to make GIFs, which is exciting.
Oh,
Can you
nice.
send those
Save
to
me.
me, please?
I'll send you one. It's pretty funny.
Bacon, what do you got going on, man? I know. you've
I
been
did.
kinda
My
busy.
most recent video is on how you're not telling stories
Great
while you're
video.
playing games.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate
Great
that.
video.
And there's other stuff in the works, but like I said, it's been a struggle to kind of refine the flow. I don't know if I said this live, so I guess I'll just say now. It's been a struggle for me to refine the flow. There's a lot of things that are up in the air currently with free time and work time and all that stuff. So once I get there, I'll certainly be making more videos. That's one that I just, it's been 3 years in the making and I needed to get it out. So I got that one out, but there are other things that I will eventually return to making videos on.
Your videos make me feel dumb.
That's not what they're there for.
I love Bacon's
Ain't hard.
very scholarly take on things. I think it's much
Pseudo-scholarly.
needed because there's
No.
I don't know. They're good videos. They're good.
Well,
videos,
thank you.
So, all right. Well, if you made it this far, we really appreciate it. Please hit like, subscribe, consider becoming a member, join the Discord. We're trying to, we'd love to see more games going on there. And you're free to run games on the Discord, chat in the Discord, and just discuss whatever. But yeah, I guess that's it for us. Please go to these guys' channels if you haven't and subscribe to them. And next week, like I said, special guest. Hopefully, I got to confirm this weekend. We'll let everyone know. Oh God, I hope that'll be awesome.
Where is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
If order your pizza,
Yep.
buy your liquor,
Yep.
and if it doesn't work out, we'll all just drink together and cry.
Yep. Exactly. Exactly. So, all right. But with that said, guys, our watch has ended. Take care. Have a great weekend. See you next week.
Take care, everyone.
Thank you guys.
Get up.